The highly anticipated MCU Disney Plus show, Loki, will debut sometime in May 2021, likely right after the release of Black Widow starring Scarlett Johansson. A first look at the Loki series was released at Disney Investor Day back in December, and it raised the question, what exactly is going on in this show? Well, let's try to break it down and understand this strange and exciting project. Not much is known about the series, and the only thing the trailer clears up is explaining where this new Loki came from. Because the last time we saw the main MCU Loki, he had his throat crushed by Thanos and his body was dropped at his brother's feet. This Loki is the one from Time Heist in Avengers Endgame, when he stole the Tesseract after the Battle of New York and escaped. A Loki at his most villainous will be the star of the show, and he will be playing with history as he travels to different time periods. But this Loki had the Space Stone the last time we saw him, so he shouldn't be able to time travel. And on that note, let's talk about the TVA. But first, if you're enjoying this video, please take 1 second to subscribe to our channel and help us grow. Now, back to the TVA. The TVA stands for the Time Variance Authority. The simplest way to describe the group is time cops, but there's much more to it than that. The organization exists beyond time, and it's their job to maintain the correct flow of time and to prevent any time interferences. In fact, the TVA hates Kang the Conqueror because Kang is a time-traveling being, and he will be the villain of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So it is possible that this series sets up Kang and maybe sets up the TVA to appear later down the line to help deal with Kang the Conqueror and other time-traveling characters, both hero and villain. These people once arrested the Fantastic Four for breaking time laws, so they do not discriminate. The TVA headquarters is one of the most mysterious and intriguing locations, containing some clues towards a few other Marvel characters. In one shot of the trailer, there's a stained glass window behind Owen Wilson's character, who we will get to momentarily, and that window has a devil-esque figure on it. Now, some people are getting sick of the constant Mephisto theories, but that figure could be Mephisto. The second clue involves the 3 heads and later the 3 statues that we see in the trailer. It is unknown who the 3 heads are referencing, but the most likely candidate is the Timekeepers. The Timekeepers were created by He Who Remains. Their comic history is complicated, just like every character, so we'll touch on the most important aspect of this group. The 3 Timekeepers established themselves as the custodians of the time stream, the time stream that the TVA works to keep flowing correctly. Another theory is that the 3 heads represent the Living Tribunal, the entity as old as the universe itself, who is tasked with looking over the multiverse. But that doesn't make much sense because the Living Tribunal has one body with 3 faces, not 3 separate bodies. At Disney Investor Day, Kevin Feige finally confirmed that Owen Wilson would be in the show, and he, as well as everyone in the cast besides Tom Hiddleston, did not have a character confirmed that they would be playing. But thanks to the subtitles on the exclusive clip, we know that Owen Wilson is playing Mobius M. Mobius. This character is senior management of the TVA, and may have been the one responsible for the capture of everyone's favorite god of mischief. Loki may have used TVA technology to time travel, but before he was captured, he would not have had access to that ability. Unless he wanted to get caught, which is something that Loki has been known to do in the past. Another character shown in the trailer is the character played by Gugu mbatha-raw, who appears to be playing a TVA court justice who oversees what looks to be Loki's trial. The TVA has 8 justices: Hope, Liberty, Love, Might, Goodwill, Mills, Peace, and Truth. Mbatha-raw is playing one or all of them if Marvel decided to combine the justices into one, which wouldn't be surprising. It looks like Loki time traveling will be the catalyst for supernatural or mysterious events throughout human history. Everyone has already talked about Loki being D.B. Cooper, so we'll start with that one. For anyone who has forgotten or is unfamiliar with D.B. Cooper, here's a quick refresher. In 1971, a man under the alias of D.B. Cooper boarded a plane, held everyone hostage, collected $200,000, then grabbed a parachute and jumped out of the plane. His fate was uncertain, and the mystery still remains unsolved to this day. Apparently, Loki has become D.B. Cooper. He is dressed just like him, he has a giant case of cash, and he's on an airplane. The show does explain what happened to him and why the case was never solved though. He gets sucked into the Bifrost. The Bifrost means that he had to be pulled into Asgard. So maybe we'll get to see Heimdall, and possibly Thor. After all, Loki did call them out directly before jumping.
Brother, Heimdall, you better be ready.
But there is one more hard-to-notice, real-world conspiracy that Loki probably had a hand in. In the shot of President Loki, there's a Polybius arcade cabinet hidden in the back. The Polybius arcade game is the center of an urban legend. Despite there not being any evidence of the game actually existing, many people believe that it was part of a government-led conspiracy, and playing it created intense, psychoactive, and addictive effects in the player. Apparently, Loki was behind that one too. It'll be fun to see what other conspiracies and mysteries throughout history are reconnected to feature Loki. And let's touch on President Loki real quick. This is one of the most fun aspects of the trailer. The shot is a reference to the President Loki comic, and the costume designers did a fantastic job of bringing that outfit to life and adding a few of their own additions. The comic was meant to be a satire on the 2016 presidential election, and Loki ran on the base that he would have the guts to lie straight to the faces of the American people and that they would love him for it. His campaign took off. In this show, Loki will do the same thing in one of the timelines he visits, but it looks like some of his supporters will have ulterior motives. We have a couple more people to talk about, and they are the most important and most crucial to the show. Sofia DiMartino is confirmed. Set photos have shown her in a Loki-looking outfit, and the trailer only showed one quick shot of the back of her head. People thought it was Black Widow when they watched the trailer, but all clues point towards DiMartino playing Lady Loki. Lady Loki is one of Loki's favorite forms to shapeshift into. In the comics, Loki was reborn as a woman after the events of Ragnarok, and he was in the form of Lady Sif. The MCU will almost certainly find a different way to do this origin, but with time travel being central to the plot, anything is possible at this point. Another form of Loki rumored to appear is Kid Loki. Kid Loki is a restored version of Loki who is in child form. This Loki is a hero and a young Avenger and has a very powerful quote. "I'm Loki, yes. I can only be Loki, but as much as they're able, I want people to trust me." So at some point in the show, we might get a Kid Loki or a tease for Kid Loki. It could even be a Doctor Who type regeneration. The possibility does still remain, however, that this series will not establish Kid Loki, but Thor: Love and Thunder will. After all, the main MCU Loki died as a hero and could be reborn as one too. Whether Kid Loki shows up in the Loki series or is just hinted at, we should expect an appearance of him in some form. One last theory that has been thrown around suggests that the series will find a way to connect Lady and Kid Loki to the main MCU timeline, but Tom Hiddleston will not return. If that's the case, then this series will be Hiddleston's send-off to the character, and we can only hope that this one is as worthy as Thor. So, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and be sure to subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Thanks for watching.